to Beyond.
Please welcome to the stage the Corporate Vice President of Community and Ecosystems, Rob Rae.
The privilege to talk to Rob Rae. After 10 months, he was avoiding me all the time. No, he wasn't. He and I we had a great engagement in Denver. The Denver was a fantastic event, and now Pax8 EMEA in Amsterdam. It's great, Rob. You're doing it again. You're putting a show, absolutely fantastic show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We spend a lot of energy and effort in making sure that the MSP's experience through the whole thing is relevant. It's important. You don't want to waste your time if you're not going to learn anything or engage with anybody. So we're very, very critical and very kind of careful with making sure that we take advantage of the time that people are spending here.
You do, and it's not only the show and how beautiful it is, but it's also the content. The content was amazing. You know, I told you back in Denver that I completely bought into the concept of the MIP. Can you explain to people what MIP is?
Yeah, absolutely. Love to. MIP, Managed Intelligence Provider. So the idea behind this is that, you know, as we've seen our industry change over the number of decades, there's been these moments in time, you know, hardware coming into this space, and now all of a sudden this kind of the birth of IT. We saw, you know, that transformation of hardware to cloud. That was a huge wave that we all had to deal with based on the technology that was coming, you know, cloud to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is something now that every single managed service provider, everybody needs to be talking about and looking at. These are the big waves. Now, there's been little tiny waves that have come with new technologies and different ways of doing these big waves, but we have AI. AI is coming. There is no doubt about it. And we all believe it's going to transform our businesses, both as vendors, as well as the channel, as well as the ultimate end user. So how do we take advantage of this? Managed intelligence will be a revenue stream. AI will be a revenue stream that everyone in the channel will have an opportunity to be a part of if that's what they choose. But I don't think there really is a choice. It's kind of like this essential part of it. Managed intelligence is going to be that revenue stream. It's going to be that transformation. And we do believe that AI will tie into everything, cybersecurity and all the technologies that everybody is using. So the idea of managed intelligence provider, somebody that is there providing IT services, leading with AI, is where that concept comes from.
A lot of people struggle with the monetization of AI. They just think, you know, how am I going to sell that? You know, like you can log into ChatGPT almost for free. You know, you can use some credits, whatever. What is the path for the MSPs to take advantage of the AI revenue stream?
Yeah. So we're making some bets here. I don't think we know exactly what the revenue stream could look like, because it could be many, many different types of ways in which we're generating revenue here. You know, we have the traditional models that we've all been used to, which is like a per seat kind of model. So maybe it's a per agent kind of model. Maybe that's the idea of where all this is going, but maybe not. A lot of MSPs that I'm talking to now, at least some of the early ones that have jumped into the managed intelligence provider piece of it, are usually doing per outcome, meaning I'm going to go in, I'm going to take a look at your business, I'm going to be able to save you X amount of dollars. I want a percentage of those X amount of dollars. So there's many different ways that we could actually do that. And it could be multiple ways. So, hey, I'm going to save you X, you're going to pay me Y in order for me to be able to do this. But then for ongoing management, maybe it's a per agent, maybe it's still a per seat, maybe, you know, so the key is, though, at least talking about the monetization piece of it, because you don't want to miss out on those big revenue opportunities.
Absolutely. But when I think about this, you start talking about, I'm going to deploy an agent, I'm going to fix a problem, I'm going to automate something. You're touching the skills of going into a customer with a completely different set of solutions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, that's why we need to be exploring all of these things right now, looking at some of the technologies that are coming. I do believe that what we're selling today will not be what we're selling in the next 5 years. And if you think back like 5 years ago, what you were selling 5 years ago is not what you're selling today. There's going to be a massive evolution of these technologies, of the way in which these technologies work, of what these technologies do. So I think that's kind of the important part, again, is just opening your eyes and looking forward and really learning as much as we possibly can as these things come. You know, you see we've got 45 vendors that are here. All of them, most of them are predominantly focused around cybersecurity. There's a few that are working on some AI pieces. I think next year at the same conference, we'll do this interview again. We're going to see a whole ton of vendors here that you've never heard of before that are focused around the AI piece of it.
I personally believe that AI will force this new kind of a concepts will force the managed service providers to start looking much deeper into the business problems of the customers. Do they have the skills to do that?
To a certain extent, yes. I don't think it's something that's unlearnable, though. I think it's something that if we change the way, so the value of what we've got in the channel is we have the relationship, right? We have the relationship with these businesses. Can we come in and change that relationship to be more consultative as opposed to less, here's a solution I'm providing to you? I think we have the ability to do that. There is going to be some learnings. You might have to go and find some new individuals that can position this a little bit differently, but the channel is in prime position to be able to have those conversations. I don't think there is anyone else that's able to do that, especially in the small business realm.
I completely agree. I think they have the relationship and the knowledge of technology, the understanding of technology. The only thing that I still believe they could be helped with is this understanding of how to sell business process reengineering to the customer.
Absolutely. And we talked about the managed intelligence provider playbook here at this conference, which is the idea of how to start having those conversations. Again, we're going to start seeing training and products and services that are going to help the MSPs kind of simplify that. The whole idea here and what we're talking about here is you're not on your own. We can leverage this massive community because the opportunity is that big that we can help each other. We can learn from our best practices. We can learn, who's having success with it, what's not working, and just share that with this entire community.
This MIP playbook is actually a very interesting document. I got a copy of that. I downloaded it immediately. It's like 5 pillars, if I remember correctly, that will provide a stepping stone or kind of a first steps for the MSPs to become MIPs.
Absolutely. So that's a lot of what we want to do here at Pax8 is not only bring these technologies to the managed service providers, build these technologies into our platforms so that the channel can actually leverage these technologies, but also do the training education around this journey. So, we talk about these 5 pillars in the managed intelligence provider playbook, and these 5 pillars in essence are thinking about how things are going to transform. First part is like discovery, right? What are the technologies I need to be looking at? How do I position these technologies with the end users? What's the value of them, of what I'm providing to them? Buying, the way in which we buy technology is going to change. We talked a little bit about selling it, which is another one. But as far as how we consume these technologies, what vendors do we work with, we have to start thinking about those things because, again, that's going to transform. And the whole idea of I buy something, I add margin to it, I give it or sell it to my end user, and that's how I make money, that is potentially going to change on this buying. We talk about tokens, we talk about buying agents. I think the most exciting part of the 5 pillars is probably the third, which is the building. Rather than just offering somebody else's solution or a vendor solution, there's going to be some customization that's going to be available for the managed service providers, for the actual channel itself to be able to build things, customize things, whether it's an industry thing, whether it's a per user thing, to be able to build these agents so that they are relevant. And I think that also increases the value of what you are doing for your end user, which goes back to what you were saying, the consultative part of this. Selling it is going to be completely different. Who in the organization do I need to talk to? Is it the same person that I was selling technology to before? Or is it a different person? Do I need to talk to many people within these organizations to be able to show and demonstrate the value of what the agents, what your service is doing, the consultative piece of it? And then I think the critical part also is the management of it, right? We need to stay engaged. This isn't a one and out. This isn't a here's your box and I am done. Call me if you need me. There's going to be ongoing management, which feeds into the recurring revenue stream that we've all been building for the last 20 years.
You talk about recurring revenue streams. Most of the channel partners in Europe are still not in the recurring revenue streams. They are still the traditional resellers, VAR systems integrators that are basically going from project to projects and selling to the customer individual solutions rather than a recurring revenue offers or services. What is your advice for them?
Well, so this is, I think, again, this moment here when we look at the managed intelligence, because this is new, right? I don't necessarily think it's going to be easier for managed service providers versus VARs to be able to make that leap. I think they all have the ability to make that leap. Sure, VARs haven't been necessarily focused on recurring revenue streams in a consistent basis, but maybe this is the opportunity to do so. There's so much value that comes from recurring revenue as far as your business valuation, consistency in your revenue streams. Like there's so much value in there. So if your journey is, VAR to MSP, which we have seen a lot of organizations make that leap, but if that wasn't your journey, VAR to MIP is not an unrealistic thing. And then this is the way, because it is technology, but this might be also the way to build that recurring revenue stream. Just bypass the MSP, go straight into the MIP and offering the AI type services. But again, the key to this is you want to stay engaged, you want to stay active with it. A lot of the technologies that are coming down as well from the AI developers, they don't want ongoing management. They don't want to manage the end user customers. They want to develop their products. Especially in the small medium business space, they may want to stay engaged and consulting on the enterprise side. But when it comes to the small medium sized businesses out there, I think there's a massive opportunity for this channel.
I hope everybody bought into the MIP concept by now. Okay. Rob, beyond the MIP playbook, which anybody can download, I'll try to put a QR code and a link for this in my video. What are the other options or opportunities from Pax8 to the VAR community, managed services provider community, to learn, to advance their knowledge, to expand?
Absolutely. So the managed intelligence provider playbook that we launched here in Amsterdam, that is the how to do this. It gets a little more tactical on how to actually tackle this market. We have another report that we launched in Denver that you were at, called the agentic inflection point. That's more of the why. Why do we want to do this? Why do we want to start engaging, and how do we start engaging with our end users, just to have some preliminary conversations around AI and how this is coming, preparing everybody for this is coming, and I'm going to be here for you, and I'm going to be able to help you with this. So, when you're ready, let's talk, or when I have more information, let's talk. On top of that, Pax8, one of the beautiful parts or reasons why we're where we are in this ecosystem is because I don't sell a particular product. I sell all the products. So I have this phenomenal academy team that is here. They're all ex industry people who have turned into coaches, and we help our partners on a ongoing basis around helping them build their businesses, not just technology, but all the soft skills that you need in order to be able to run your business. So we can help all those things that we talked about: the discovery, the buying, the building. We have courses and people that are already aware. I think AI alone, we have already 300 courses where we can train people, train businesses on wherever your gaps actually are. And because we're so vendor neutral, you can then, once you have decided, yeah, this is the journey I want to go on, or this is the technology I need, I've got it in a marketplace, and you can pick and choose whatever vendor you want to work with.
The Pax8 Academy it's a vast amount of the content, and what I really liked, what I've heard yesterday, was this kind of an AI system or AI tool that will customize the content delivery. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, I believe you're talking about our guided growth program. So the guided growth program, in essence, what it does is it assesses where you are as far as your strength when it comes to things like cybersecurity or AI, or we launched Microsoft One Cloud guided growth here as well. So what we can do is through an assessment, we ask you a whole bunch of questions, and we can benchmark you compared to where you are on your journey with other companies that are similar to you. And then we can actually take that and focus on some specific training for you around that. So if you're weak in the go-to-market strategy, we have courses, and we'll recommend those courses and customize those courses based on those needs. If you're weak on the technical side, the service delivery side, whatever part of your organization that you're kind of weak on or need help with, we have courses and can recommend those courses to help you bring those up, and which people within your organization should be taking those.
So there is a playbook, there's the courses, I think the assessment, agentic inflection point paper. I think you're gonna have some events in Europe as well to help people to kind of get some face-to-face understanding of the MIP concept.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always been very active, like live. It's not just webinars. We go live into these different parts of the European market, bring the education to the MSPs. 1 day, 2 day type sessions where we can bring this knowledge, this information, what's new. Because of course, we're here in Amsterdam. Next week, something else is going to happen. The week after, something's going to happen. So we need to continue to enlighten people, and we can do that through the engagement like that, because we do Beyond once a year here in Europe, and then once in the United States. But everything is changing more often than that, so that's our opportunity to do that. So we have a list of live events. One of the things I'm really bullish on, we did it here in Amsterdam, was we did a course on how to build agents, a training for MSPs on how to build agents. Some MSPs are already doing it. A lot of people aren't yet. This is kind of first step on what does it look like? What does it mean to build an agent? I think taking that on the road and teaching MSPs and courses on how to build agents is a phenomenal opportunity to bring everybody along on this journey. So we're going to do a lot of that, and we'll post on our website all the different cities and events and dates where we're going.
You're not only helping people to build the agents, you have also launched an agentic store or store of agents.
That's coming. It's not quite out yet. But yeah, what the goal is that if you take a look at kind of traditional distributors, a lot of times they will find a technology that's kind of already out there and then bring it into their disty, and then you can buy it through your local disty. Pax8 has our marketplace where we actually have very similar, where all the companies that you're working with, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Sophos, all that, they're all in our marketplace today. What we want to do with this AI store in our marketplace is be able to bring technologies that maybe you've never heard of. Things like, as we've come across technologies that are not as well known. I'll give you an example. We've got about 30 different vendors that we're working with right now that we're bringing into the AI store, most of which people are not working with. But I'll give you a perfect example. Roost is one. Now, it's been around in the MSP space for a little bit as an RPA, but that's one that's focusing and investing quite a bit into AI right now. So we're going to leverage the AI aspect of what they're developing and put it into the AI store as, here's what you can do with Roost. HATZ, HATZ AI is also another one that's becoming very, very popular in the MSP space. Again, you may have never heard of it. It's still it's still early, but it's working, and MSPs are starting to really adopt it. That's another one that we're going to bring in. So instead of legacy vendors and coming to a disty, we're actually going out and proactively looking for technologies that MSPs are using, or companies that want to bring their AI technology to the MSP market. We're in a perfect spot to be able to do that and leverage those technologies and leverage the experience that we've got in the managed services space to be able to do that.
I've heard that tonight concert is actually you singing on stage.
Nobody wants that. I mean, sure, but nobody wants that. No, absolutely not.
So who's the star?
When are you broadcasting this?
After the event.
Okay. So here in Europe, you guys love your DJs. Um, it's a pretty famous DJ. How about if I leave it at that?
Thank you so much for lifting a little bit the veil on the secret. I know it's going to be an exciting concert, and I'm looking forward to go there. Rob, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast, on the interview, on the discussion, and thanks for inviting me to Pax8 Beyond. I recommend everybody to sign up today for the future, for the Copenhagen, for the Salt Lake City, if you can make the hop over to the US. It is always a great show. I always learn something new and interesting, and I always can meet Rob and the gang.
Always enjoy my time with you. Thank you again for the opportunity, and thank you for joining us here.
Thank you.